Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mechelism. Today I'll be going over the timeline of what happened with the nationwide low inventory, used cars and new cars. From what I've seen, a lot of videos cover the semi-chip conductors, but it started way before that. So stay tuned, grab you a drink, grab you some popcorn, because we're going to go over the timeline and hopefully this educates you and prepares you for your next car purchase. So January 2020 and February 2020, with COVID-19 being a big thing, people were not renting cars as much as they normally do due to layoffs, working from home, and the fear of getting contaminated by renting a vehicle they didn't know if it was sanitized or not. Rental vehicle companies are a good source of name brand dealers to purchase quality used vehicles from. Us ourselves, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, that's what we do. So if you ever notice a used car about 30,000 miles, 2 years old, still great to sell, that's where we get them from. The next following months with March, things were going crazy. So consumers were buying vehicles amidst the pandemic. So unemployment, final checks, stimmies were used as down payment. I've literally seen most people putting $1,500 down to about $6,000 in these months, as I sold a lot of cars that month as their down payment. Sales topped 18 million units for 2 months in a row. Just to give you an idea, we haven't seen sales that great in 2 months since August 4th of 2000, with so many vehicles being sold. In March, 18 million units were sold, and in April, 18.5 million units were sold, and the average vehicle price was $37,572. And then after this happened, factories were preparing to shut down for the whole lockdown things from last year. March 26th, Chrysler planned to shut down the plants until April 14th. So give it about two weeks, somewhere around there, 2.5 weeks, 3. Reopening delays did happen. As the fourth quarter approached, things were starting to slowly go back to normal working order. So we figured, even us here, hey, things will go back to normal. Following up to May 2020, rental cars filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So Avis and Hertz, which are the main sellers of basically two dealerships as a used car dealer, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Rental companies are a good source for us, like I said earlier, and they decided to sell most of their fleet, which means every dealership was buying their cars up. And I'll come back to that in a few months later, because you'd be surprised in a mere 6 or so months after this what they were able to do. By the time August hit, due to the lack of quality used vehicles, the used car market just started soaring, as you guys have seen, which is why you see the car prices where they're at. A majority of trade-ins were not trade-in reselling worthy. Again, as a name brand dealership, you got to remember, we're not the bad guys. Think of the dealership as a court of law. We are auto attorneys, attorney at auto, I guess you could say, and the banks are the judges. They're going to overall let you know if you are going to be approved or not. So when it comes to that, they don't really want to approve or finance anything that's 6 to 8 years old. So when you have a vehicle over 100,000 miles, which we're all programmed to think that's when a car is about to kaput, which it's not, they don't want to take the risk on you defaulting. One thing that I really can't stand about my line of work is the banks when it comes to 10 grand or less cars, which is a subject for another day. And research shows, National Traffic Highway Association, that average vehicle age is 12 years and 1 month old. So just goes to show you how long these people are holding on to their vehicles. Let's just put it this way with how crazy used vehicles are. I had a customer come in, I think it was around March right there before everything started to go up. 3 months later, when the used car market just started to soar up, he bought a Jeep Rubicon entry-level $54,500 tax and license. 3 months later, Kelly Blue Book said that vehicle was worth $59,000, just to give you an example. Now you think, oh, that's great, I can trade my car in, blah, blah, blah. Think about it from a business point of view. Say you're a customer. Would you buy a used Jeep Rubicon with some miles on it for $59,000? Or would you buy a brand new one for, let's say, $55,000? It's not that hard. You don't even have to do math at that point. It's just common sense. So on to October now. There was a slight recovery. On October 29th, 2020, Hertz secured a financing to steer out of bankruptcy. They did so well selling cars that they were able to get out of their bankruptcy. Like I said, in about 6 months, they got out of bankruptcy. The new deal and sold vehicles were a success to keep their business afloat. So, and then on top of that, FCA, which I'm relating to Chrysler because that's who I work for currently, FCA had hired 4,100 Detroit residents for its new complex in Detroit. One thing that I love that Chrysler's doing is they try to stay home, I guess you could say, for their city, where they hire people that work there for those factory jobs to continue the boom there. If you guys know, I mean, Detroit, Motor City, Motown, everything. I mean, you go to certain places, it still looks like WW2 out there. You know, it's crazy, but I'm really glad that Fiat Chrysler Associates, or now Stellantis, they keep the money in Detroit with the residents to give them some sort of job or hope to, you know, upgrade their lifestyles. One big subject that happened in November/December 2020 that I don't think most other dealerships had to deal with. So on November 29th, 2020, truck drivers begin their Stop the Tires 2020 strike. Universal Logistics Holding, ULH for short, affiliate company Universal Intermodal Services illegally fired truck drivers, denied them back pay, and refused to recognize the union workers that they won. So these truck drivers just won a union and they get illegally fired by an affiliate program. So that's why they're stopping. To make this worse, average companies, name brand companies, again, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Toyota, whatever, they pay about $100, $150 per vehicle on their truck. So Tesla said, screw you guys, we're gonna pay you $700, $750 per vehicle on there. So you've got truck drivers with like 8 Tesla models on there that are lighter to load, not gonna tear up your truck as much, and you're making an additional $5,600 somewhere on top of that. Why not? We have one truck driver, I know him by name, his name is Javier, and he was just telling me basically you have to have a special rig when it comes to heavy duty trucks, which is American made trucks, that can haul those 1-ton trucks. It's not an easy job. It takes a while to load those, strap them down versus the Tesla. So again, as a truck driver that's still working, you're probably gonna pick the Teslas, which is probably why you don't see much inventory landing anywhere. I know you guys in the Midwest get things a lot faster as you're closer to Detroit and, you know, your train yards or whatever. But we've really had our neighbor dealership over here, and what happened was they tried to go pick up the trucks themselves, and, you know, the port over there in Benicia, which is Vallejo, they wouldn't let them pick it up. So you're just stuck with inventory sitting there. It was so bad at one point, I think around February, what happened was it looked like these vehicles came through a snowstorm. You can see them just covered in dust where the suction cups were on the windows to install them on the vehicles through the production line. It was really crazy, man. To December 21st, 2020, some automakers were affected by the driver shortage, while others were waiting on old vehicles. So again, I don't know if many people on the East Coast had to deal with this. If you did, comment below and let me know, as we've been fighting with that. I've had 42 vehicles at the yard waiting to be delivered, and I think we're finally caught up, but I think we're back down to 30 vehicles just stuck there waiting for delivery. Fast forward to March, this is where the chip shortage happened. So on March 19th, 2021, Renesas Electronic Company suffered a devastating fire at their factory located in Hitachi-Naka, which is northeast Tokyo. This location was the #1 semiconductor chip premium supplier in the world. So even though Intel and everything's up there, they got to get it from here. And as y'all know, semiconductor chips, we're all feeling it right now, waiting for your new cell phone models being discontinued. I heard word that even Ford had a line like 2 to 3 miles long waiting for that one chip at the production line just to put in for a backup camera. It's really that bad right now. So that's where the semi-chip conductor problem comes in. So recently, to get up to speed with everything, like I said, low inventory, new cars are hard, you know, basically they're trickling in due to the truck drivers, and then trickling in just due to being made. Now, I kind of see the used car market boomeranging back a little bit, not a whole lot. So right now, June 21st, Avis and Hertz now have enough inventory to sell back to dealerships. The problem is you're gonna see a lot of vehicles with, let's say, 60 to 100,000 miles on them that are still kind of new, let's say 4 or 5 years old. And, you know, I think that's gonna be very harsh for salesmen people buying cars and everything, because we're, like I said, we've been programmed 100,000 miles, a car's done for, which it's not. So I think it's going to be a really harsh touch with reality. I just sold a Toyota Camry right now, a used vehicle, wasn't certified or anything, had 84,000 miles on it on a 2016. So customers are always going to be wary of that. So I think it's just, you know, a lot of these cars that are 12 plus years old, I think we all subconsciously know that these vehicles can go beyond 100,000 miles, but we're still programmed to think 100,000 miles, a car's done. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. If this was helpful, let me know. Leave a comment below if you're into sales, or actually automotive sales, and what has affected you, you know. And even if you're a buyer, let me know what's going on too. How hard was it for you to secure financing? How hard was it for you to find a car overall? Piece of advice to friends and family, not as a salesman, but from one person to another. If you see a car on a car lot right now, definitely see if you can secure it or take it now. Don't mean to rush you, but chances are, once that vehicle sells, we don't know we're going to get something like that back in again. I had a Q60, customers waiting for their insurance to come back. Once that vehicle's gone, it's a super nice one. It's the twin turbo model, and it's not the super sporty with the stiff suspension, but it's like the one like right before the luxury package. And I told him, like, look, once this vehicle is gone, I don't know what's going to replace it, because used cars, I have no control over what comes in, what comes out at that same mileage. So if you see a quality car, get it and don't look back. If you see a new car you want and it's something you really, really want, you're probably going to have to pay sticker for it. At best, some dealerships are marking up their inventory $4,000 up, just because it's economics 101, supply and demand. I mean, we've all learned that, but we all act like we don't know it when it comes to buying cars. Not saying you should be paying over sticker, but if you really want that car that bad, you might as well, because no telling when it's coming in. You can order a car as well if you're looking for something specific that would expedite things. The chips are being made priority to people that are ordering things. So, oh, these flies over here. So as long as you order your vehicle, you should be set, and just be patient, because you don't know when that vehicle is going to be made, if they're actually going to reject that order as well. So I would recommend putting a deposit down so it looks legit. And that's pretty much it. So again, comments, questions, concerns, put them down below. And if this helped, share it with a friend. Thank you.